This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on Twitter. In the Sorgatron Media Studio. Ha! We got it. Ready to go here. We got a heck of a crew with us. First of all, from Studio D, the Dutters is with us. Oh, yes.
Still is Studio D. I'm Studio C.
Well, you're still D for Dutters. C from the C. No, that's right.
Yeah, and TC from the D.
TC from the D. I gotta. Damn it! Can we put these in the?
And your M from the B.
Can we need to put all these in the document because I can't keep them straight anymore. It's too much alphabet. How are you doing, Katie?
Good. How's it going?
Excellent. Good to be here. Good to have you on the air and back with us. Sheila is on assignment with Big Bank International, Esquire. So we have our friend from the iPhoneography podcast and also knows way more things about cars than I do. Considering we both film or work around them or the industry in some sort. You're more
for the same place.
Yeah, you're more embedded than I am, though. Dave Potter is with us.
Thanks for having me on, Sorg. Yeah, very. I'm deep embedded.
Yes.
Deep embedded.
Deep embedded. He's like, yes, thank you, Dave Potter. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're gonna have fun today, as I can already tell this vibe. Here's a warning. This is the Sorg just woke up from a nap vibe today. So wonderfully confused on where he's at and energized, and realized that I forgot my coffee in the other room just now. So I might have to step away for a moment when I go to one of your awesome things. But anyways, this is the AwesomeCast, coffee or not. Check it out at AwesomeCast.com. AwesomeCast at SorgatronMedia.com is the email. At AwesomeCast on the Twitter, and of course we are have some great conversations at the Facebook group for AwesomeCast, and we also have a Discord and a Reddit if you want to jump in any of that. And of course we are live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It catches afterwards on the podcast feed, of course, wherever fine podcasts are sold. But you can check us live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the AwesomeCast Facebook, the Twitter streaming, as well as the YouTube. And you can stream us over on the Twitch for Sorgatron Media. And we're back at it. We got it going again. We're trying out Twitter Spaces, and that is different because if you tune in early enough, we might be just kind of chit-chatting a little bit before we actually go on the air. So that might be fun as well. Or you can see, are they actually getting ready? Is there tech problems going on? And whatever. And also, we're not recording it, so we'll say whatever we want. But yeah, so toss in there, and I don't, and I say I'm new to it. I've been listening to some other people's Twitter Spaces. Our friend the Rev Ron Hunt, Coffee with the Rev, he's been doing Tuesday and Thursday mornings. I've been listening to after he was a guest for us on our Wrestling Mayhem show last week, and a couple other ones I popped in on. So we're experimenting with it. See if it's another venue for people to want to maybe hop in the show. Maybe an easier way if you're on the road and you can throw your Twitter on in the car or something like that on commute or whatever the case may be. However people want to listen. So I'll give a shout out to Terror that's in the chat room right now for over there on the Twitter space. Also, thank you to our Patreon supporters. Oh, also thank you to postindustrial.com that's been sharing the show as well. A great outlet there for your news in the Rust Belt. Thank you to our friends that are supporting the show at patreon.com/wrestlingmate. Patreon.com/AwesomeCast. Our friends, the executive producer, Brian Crawford, who's been telling me on the DMs about how his new EV car is going for him. Our friends at the Coffee Club level, Matt Weller, John Carmen, Cynthia Kloski, Scott McTaggart, and Mike Pound. And on the fan of the show level, Michael Fedor, Professor Buzzkill, and Dave Ponder, you! He's pointing at himself.
Nope, there we go. I had to unmute myself.
You guys can be a Dave Podner too at patreon.com/awesomecast. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. Katie, I'm going to let you go first to start talking about this while I go grab my coffee, and I'm going to come back and show them the pictures, okay?
Okay, but you saw the pictures?
Yeah. Are these the ones you sent me from before?
No, I just sent you them now. And your text messages, because
Oh,
they won't
that's
stay.
right.
I learned that Google flipping or whatever Googly thing doc does not let me put pictures in any other direction besides sideways.
Oh.
So I got mad and walked away.
Well, here. Let me throw this nice picture on. You can talk about what this is about while I go grab my coffee real quick.
Okay,
There
I'll
you
talk
go.
really slow. Take your time. Hi. So yeah, what's my awesome thing of the week? Yesterday went to Simmons Farm, which is down by South Park, not too far from us. And went flower picking, and you go there, and essentially it's like, I think it's like $21, but you pay a $5 deposit, and that's $21 for a bucket and a pair of scissors that you will definitely not want to steal because they are dull as heck. But you just wander around a field of flowers. Like the one the picture's up now is a bunch of different colored zinnia. There's marigolds. There is like a whole bunch of different flowers that you can cut. And you just put them, and as soon as you fill you get a little bucket, and as soon as you fill your little bucket, you're done. And I made a pretty decent bouquet that I'll make Sorg show us when he gets back with his coffee, because I ended up transferring it to another bucket when I got home because it looks so nice in a bucket. Oh, look, they're moving all by itself. But those are the ones I cut. You'll see all different colored flowers. You can pick whatever you want. If you want certain ones, you can just go with those. But yeah, you get your steps in, walking. So you can get your steps in, walking around the field, cutting flowers.
I love it.
Yeah.
You sent me the can I say the thing I said when you sent me the picture, and I looked at the I think I saw it in stories and I was responding to it, right? And I clicked through,
Yes.
and I looked at their Instagram account. I was like, only attractive ladies are allowed in this field, apparently. So,
It seemed like it. Like, that's all, when you look at the story, that's all that post pictures, like that they're there. And I was like, okay, there was a photo shoot that was happening when we were leaving.
Are you serious?
But oh yeah, it was like, I think it was some sort of bridal one, because someone was, had a veil on. It wasn't like a real veil, but a veil on, and they were wearing something else. But yeah, so we've gone to Simmons a few times. They do have a little farmer's market inside where you can buy veggies and other things. And they do pumpkins, and they have they have a kids area. They have a corn maze in the fall, and you can go apple picking and pick your own pumpkin, or you can pick a pumpkin they have up front. And they do very massive pumpkins. So if you're ever like, you know what, I really want to own a pumpkin that I can't physically pick up, that's the place to go. They always have them every year.
Nice. I love it. So that's Simmons Farms, simmonsfarms.com, 2 M's on that, if you're looking that up here independently on the audio feed. So awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I, as you can tell, I've been appreciating nature lately. So I love seeing that stuff. Dave Ponder, what is your awesome thing?
Yeah, my thing is an app, and I don't know if it's for Android. I think it's only for iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
It's called PhotoRoom. And what it does, its strong point is removing the subject from a photo kind of automatically. And then it's giving you templates that then you can place that into. So think old-fashioned Photoshop, what people used to do way back in the day, where you would take a photo and then, I'm going to cut you out and put you in a magazine type thing. But they have templates already set up for podcasts.
Yeah, there's this one you
like
put
this
in.
one here. Yeah.
There's me with AwesomeCast and a nice little outline thing going on there that you dropped in the Slack. Okay, I think this is probably our. It's probably definitely our. I'm just going to replace the entire format of the of the podcast art with this probably. That's pretty fantastic.
So yeah, but the nice thing is that that's a screenshot from last night's Mayhem Warriors.
Okay.
From video, and I just imported it in, and it does like a faux scan, like it's really scanning it, like, you know. So it gives you a scan, and then all of a sudden you have the main image.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could also adjust the mask manually if you want to, and then it has the templates where if you wanted to have profile pics, if you have an Etsy store, Mercardi already set up, ready to go. You can see like the profile pic there. It has the different color combinations that you can customize, so you can change the color. The one I picked just said podcast, so you can change the wording, you can change the color of the wording, and all the colors. They also say, oh, here's your standard color down below, but here's the colors that are already in the photo. So you can say, oh, I want to use this color for the background or for the lettering that's, the person's skin tone or the person's shirt, or if you have a purse, I want to use that and it'll select that, and you can select that automatically as an option. And there is a free and a paid version, but the free version gives you a good amount of options. If you're doing this as using this for your business, I think the paid version is probably worth it. You get a lot more options and you get rid of the watermark. But if you're doing it just for fun, I did one where our grandnephews came over, and it was just a picture of them. I think they were having some popsicles and looking at and reading something, and I cut it out and I put it like in a faux magazine, and just made the colors, and it turned out really fun. It was really easy to do, and it's right on the phone.
Excellent. So how much is that subscription?
I have to double check here.
I'm trying to look at it myself.
Luckily, it's really easy, because when you open up the app, there's a button that says GoPro right there. It is either $10 a month or $70 a year.
Oof, that seems like a bit for to like one thing like that. I can't take too much, because we do pay for one of the groups that I pay for. We have to do cutouts for tele-tapes for boxing or MMA and stuff, right? And there is like a website I know that somebody's paying like maybe $15 a month for, that does all that work for them, so they can so they don't have to cut out the pictures, especially if we take them on green screen like we did last Saturday in Iowa. Sorry, I can't believe I was in Iowa just like a couple days ago. It's worthwhile if you are doing this on a good basis. Actually, that's right. Actually not a bad price.
And I know someone, a friend of mine, actually, her main job is reselling stuff online, either going to Goodwill or the Goodwill bins and picking up items, finding things which people threw away or not threw away, but it's like, oh, I don't want this and I don't know what it is, and it's like, it still has the tags on it. And we did it once or twice, and it was like, okay, this sale has the tags on it. You go online, you're like, oh, this sells new for $150. And the bins you just buy by the pound. So we bought it for the equivalent of $2, sold it for $100 and some, and you're making $100 profit on one item.
Right.
So and I know that's, like I said, that's her main job.
For those one-off things that you want to make it look a little bit better, like that's definitely worthwhile for something like that.
And like I said, the really nice thing about it is it for like Instagram stories, Twitter, it's already formatted and sized for that, so you don't have to worry about, well, I'm going to put this on Instagram, so an Instagram story, so it has to be this size and this kind of aspect ratio, and it's automatically set up. It does the work for you. Like I said, the free one has a good amount that you can play with and do with too.
Awesome.
So I would say it's not unlike some things, the pro isn't 100% necessary here.
Excellent. And so that is, again, as PhotoRoom. I feel like there's a whole like large name I'm sure they did for SEO, but it's PhotoRoom Studio Photo Editor. If you're interested in grab that thing on iOS, and again, we're unsure if there is an Android version of it. So, So my awesome thing, I had a little bit of a trip this week. I made the most, try to make the most out of my trips. I was assigned to do North Iowa Fights, MMA, for Spectation Sports, great partners that we've been working with, live streaming. And of course, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take a couple days to get out here, guys. I'm not driving 12 hours straight to go set up your show, like that kind of thing. Since I got to drive all the equipment and everything. And I'm sad that this thing did not load in my app. Making the most of it. I had some time, and I met up with Missy coming back from California, actually, in Chicago. And, killing some time there. And I had a big recommendation from Mad Mike over at the Wrestling Mayhem Show, because apparently this was featured a little bit ago over on Up, Up, Down, Down, which is a really good wrestler video game kind of a show and site and play along and everything with Xavier Woods, who now does stuff with G4, actually. So this thing had... that's Dave. Here we go. There's the dramatic cut. Had over 800 video games and had a second location with more pinball. Okay. It was incredible. This is just one of the rooms. It was a meandering building. I kept just walking around and discovering stuff. And as you guys know, we've talked about on here before, our friends with PA Pinball Museum up there in Aliquippa, Replay FX all these years. Like, the experiences being at those kinds of locations that have been like the most massive collection of games that I've seen, there is still so much just walking around this that I saw and played that I had literally never seen before. And some of the machines are like kind of duped up. So like there was like a machine that had the first and second arcade Mega Man game in them. So they're definitely like, I don't know if they're like ROMs or double boarded or something like that. And there's like a switch between the two of them. So those are kind of cool. But like stuff like, I've never seen the Spawn game in the wild. That was based on the Dreamcast hardware that was also released for that. I'm not sure if I've played in the arcade WrestleMania, the arcade game, for instance, right? Or like, this Strike Fighter game I found. I played the entirety of the Atari Batman 1989 movie-based game. Which also they did have Batman Forever. Some Capcom games, the 3D Street Fighter game from the 90s. Let's say the Mega Man games. I played the entire, and they're all set on free play, like Replay FX does, right? Which I love that model. We can just go in and just go wild on this stuff. This Aliens Armageddon game that had like giant rifles. Played through the entirety of that. These hologram games. I don't know if you guys know these guys, but Sega did these hologram games. You see the little guy floating there. I have not seen probably Time Traveler or played Time Traveler in like 30 years. I think I may have seen it on the boardwalk sometime in the last decade. But this was incredible. This is and also they did have Dragon's Lair and Space Ace, both Dragon Lairs and Space Ace. Remember the Laserdisc games where you have to hit the direction at the right time, and it basically just kind of plays a full motion video. That's pretty much what like Time Traveler did, right? Too. As well, but it was a hologram floating in space in front of you kind of situation instead of a screen. And then there's a second game beside it called I just had it up here called Holosseum, which was a fighting game. It was like the weirdest, tightest little, but it was hologrammed right in the middle of the thing, just an optical illusion kind of thing. It was very, very cool. I spent a good 2.5 hours at this thing, and again, just played stuff that I just never had a chance to touch or hadn't seen in so long. Things like the Super Mario Brothers arcade version, like the Nintendo Super Mario Brothers, not Mario Brothers, arcade version that I remember from like the rolling rink when I was growing up, right? Like stuff like that. They had Punch Out. They've never seen a full Punch Out arcade game. Out there. There was an F-Zero sit-down game, and I couldn't figure out how to get into it, or I would have tried it. There was a sit-down Sonic Sega All-Stars racing game. It was incredible. So if you're in the Chicago area, it's Galloping Ghost. It was like $25 for all you could play, and they were open until midnight. So
Ooh.
have fun with that. It was like $5 more to go to also include the pinball area, which was again the building down the street. So if you got a lot of time, and I tend to find myself in Chicago every so often, so I'm going to have to make sure we allow a little bit extra time probably for this in the near future. So it was incredible, and just looking and taking another look at the pictures real quick, see if there's anything that wasn't in my thing. But yeah, definitely recommend it. Here's a little closer shot. You can't really tell because it was the hologram game. It's kind of 3D and sticking out there. But yeah, you just kind of have this little screen with a cowboy that's traveling through time, and things happen so quick, and you don't understand it. It's not really a good game, but it was like such a gimmicky game that was like of the 90s, right? So check them out, Galloping Ghost Arcade out there, and they're on Instagram and everything too. So cool. But anyways, so with that, what goes with video games but pizza? Our good friends at Slice on Broadway, supporting New York 60 style Yinzer made. Beachview, Carnegie, the East End, and the North Hills, 4 locations. Thank you to them for supporting the shows and feeding our guests when they're when we're not all digital. So, and we've actually had a few guests in the studio over the last several weeks. So we appreciated not having to figure that out and grabbing that and taking care of our people. So thank you so much to them for supporting the show. Let's see what else we got in here in the doc to chat about. Katie, you got anything in here? No. Podner does though.
I'm a chilla muted.
You're a chilla muted.
No, I wanted to talk about have Podner talk about the TikTok account where everything is edible and he uses a CNC machine.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Yeah, this guy is amazing. He is a culinary artist. I think he does run his own school. If you ever watch Food Network, and they always have like the cake decorating contest, or when you make something out of food. I'm not saying they aren't good, but everything that they tend to do, you see like, oh, we have this giant wooden dowel, and we put cake around it. Or we put, to make this giant thing, we put this other thing, but we have the wire structure. This guy, everything he does is out of chocolate.
This is
he's
Amari Guchon. Am I saying that right?
I have no idea how it's pronounced.
We'll link it because that's going to be fun to spell.
But the safe he's making here, it's all out of chocolate and it works. Now, his little symbol there does look like the Avenger symbol.
I was noticing that too when he put it in there.
Yeah. But he actually made, not only the detail, first of all, it's just very soothing seeing someone do this.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's on TikTok, it's not overly long. So he made gold bars to put into a safe. And the safe opens and closes because he makes the gears out of chocolate.
Wow.
So that's, if you scroll down the his Twitter feed, you can see like not only some, but he's making like these giant 4-foot statues. Whoa. And they're 100% out of chocolate. And it is just mind-blowing what he does. And again, the thing that not only is it impressive in my mind, just the whole creativity of, oh, I want to make this, like he's making a giant Statue of Liberty. It's like, okay, what do I need to make behind the scenes to build up to it?
It's a structure.
Yeah, there's the structure, and the structure, everything in that structure is chocolate. So the broads there are made out of chocolate, and you can see he's using a lathe here. And some of the other ones you can see he uses CNC and like edible gold leaf, and it's a giant structure, and that's 100% chocolate. And it's not, like I said, and I'm not taking anything away from people you see like on TV or other places that use a lot of structural elements to it, that aren't edible, but just having that extra bit of not only creativity, knowing, well, I have to make the chocolate this thick, and I have to do this, and I have to do this to get out of it. Yeah, it's.
So I'm trying to get to the end of it. This is a phone that he's making that he can pick up. He can pick up the phone and pull it up to his ear.
And the cord, like I said, all this is, you can see it's made out of chocolate, and it's just or fondant, and it's very delicate. The actual dowel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see the bottom is a cake.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks it up every time. Yeah. And he'll take it apart, and then he'll, it's like, and you can see him using vacuum seal techniques here and everything else. Like, this is crazy. And
this is this part of, like, it feels like it goes along with the phenomenon. I would know. I get stuck with the trailer every time it flips through on Netflix. The Is It Cake?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I think Chachi's been watching that a bit too, right? So, that's great. It's well edited, and I love that they watermarked it and everything.
Yeah, just like I said, the combination of engineering and artistry is just kind of mind blowing for that.
So that is Amaury Guichon, AmauryGuichon. If you want to go see that over on the TikToks, geez, there's like a giant. There is a giant, like, where did I see? There's a snake. There's a cobra. There's a big giraffe that's like twice his size. There's an alarm clock. Gumball machine. There's a swan thing going on. And of course, like, these have like
lamp.
10 to 40 million views.
A roulette
Is that a
wheel?
Groot of sorts? That is a Please Don't Sue Us Groot, I think.
It's something. A chandelier.
Jeez. There's an octopus attacking a lighthouse. I'm sending that to my mother-in-law because she loves lighthouses. So we're just gonna open that can of worms there, right there. Okay, that's just going out now. Okay. But yeah, that's incredible. That's I need to make sure that's on my personal account because I don't know what I'm logged into here. That's cool. Excellent. So let's look at, we kind of teased about how you know more about cars than I do. I want to talk about the EV NASCAR thing because there's very interesting things, like, because you and I both work with Formula SAE, which has been leaning more and more into EV, and then, like, even in the background, it sounds like there's like really even more exciting stuff happening there. We know Tesla has a presence, and all those. Katie, you were involved with a very fun photo shoot involving EV at Formula events, actually. So I misrepresented. All of us work around this stuff, but Dave's the expert.
Yeah.
So we're just like, that's an awesome car, and we're just like, yeah, but also it does this, and this, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, Dave. Let me know. Tell me more. Tell me what NASCAR is doing.
So NASCAR, and I give them credit because Formula already has a electric only race series.
Well, a section of it, yeah, like a section of it.
Yeah,
it's not dedicated.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just kind of runs alongside the internal combustion right now, right?
Right. But I mean, this is the big formula. Besides Formula SAE, this is the big multi-billion-dollar formula.
We're talking about
formula. And of course, everyone thinks when they think NASCAR is, cars that look like, at real cars, even though they don't. We understand that. And they all know how to make left-hand turns. That's kind of the joke. But NASCAR, and this was a leaked document, and anytime I see leaked document, I kind of wonder how leaked it is and how much it's kind of on purpose leaked,
right?
As good publicity, because NASCAR's understanding, because they hear from the people who run the NASCAR organization, hear from the car manufacturers, and the car manufacturers, if you notice, they're really pushing the electric vehicles. Where Cadillac is saying we want to be 100% electrified, either hybrid or full electric, by 2030. The big cars that are coming out that a lot of companies, Kia, Hyundai, the Chevy Blazer, they just announced and pushed out, and they announced the Silverado now has 150,000 pre-orders, which I know is small compared to the gas, but it's the next big thing. So NASCAR is starting to come out and say, I'm sorry.
Still significant, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would say smaller, but still significant, right? But the idea is that NASCAR will have an electric only series that'll run next to, not as 100%, not replacing the current NASCAR series, but it'll run next to the series where, like last year, they had what they called Clash at the Coliseum, where they ran inside the LA Coliseum, and to make that electric. So just in terms, now they're modifying it where they're making a much shorter race. So everyone can basically do it on one charge. It's going to be based on what they call the NASCAR next gen car. So all the manufacturers basically are told, here's the basic that you're going to make your car out of. So even though they look like Mustangs and they look like Camaros and they look like whatever else, they're basically made out of the same car with the same template, just so the vehicle itself is as neutral as possible. So it's up to the drivers. For the electric, they want to make it, instead of being, where you're going to have gas changes for the internal combustion, they're just going to make it so it goes on one charge. But you still may have pit issues if there's wrecks, if there's tire issues. So you still have all that going on. And they want to have regenerative braking. So they see that this is someone else who's like, when you think traditional, NASCAR traditionally was a big V8 carburetor, gasoline engine vehicle. And now it's already, set up to, they're saying, okay, we see the future. We want to prepare for this. Or we see a possible future. We want to hedge our bet. I
mean, that's the biggest thing, because, as you iterated, and if you've watched Ford versus Ferrari or anything like this, like the racing isn't just for fun. Like it's a tentpole of technology for these companies, right? So like if Ford and Ferrari and whoever is working at that performance, like all that technology trickles down to what we have in our consumer. Like, so, how much of it in our cars are because of, what they've done in Formula and NASCAR stuff that filters in, so now they're focusing on high performance EV on this level. Right. Well, it's always been there. I mean, again, student Formula SAE and and another a series like that on that level, but that NASCAR is getting that is huge on that. This is good news for the future of EV for sure.
Now, I noticed in chat from Steven, there is a comment saying the new Raptor, the new 700 horsepower Raptor pickup truck, has already been booked for pre-orders. And again, like I said, they're going hard EV, but they're not going solo EV. So I can see that, I can see, Ford, they're still going to come out with performance cars. The Corvette will still be there. The Mustang, the Camaros will still be there.
Yeah.
They'll still be there, but companies are realizing, hopefully I doubt there's that many people left from the 70s still at the auto manufacturers, but hopefully
I think you'd be surprised.
Been enough. Well, that's true, but because that's when American car manufacturers got slapped on their slide to their head.
Yeah.
When, all of a sudden the early 70s, before the government said get small, the oil crisis hit the gas. And just put in historical perspective, we're not near gas rationing right now.
No.
You're not a matter of, your license plate ends in even. You can fill up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yours ends in odd. You can fill up on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and we may be running out of gas.
So many of us don't know that world, right?
Yeah. Which is a good thing. That's a bad thing to happen, but auto manufacturers, the domestic Americans, they got caught flat-footed. All of a sudden, this giant change happened, and you went from cars that were these big, massive engines, and the only thing they could do quickly, cheaply, was to make V8s that had 150 horsepower, 120 horsepower for these massive cars.
Right.
And but to get the gas mileage, that's what they needed to do. And then the quote unquote foreign cars at the time, the Toyotas and the Hondas came and said, hey, we have these smaller vehicles, a little higher technology, because that's what we've had to deal with in our home markets. And they were able to smack the American car manufacturers inside the head. So hopefully they still have a little bit of that retained, hey, this could happen again. Let's get ready and prepare. That way we're not flat-footed.
Oh, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see. And then also, I mean, it also helps consumers, racing consumers, to see EV. Maybe those are, because I mean, I hear, I still hear I don't know if EV is good for this, that, and the other thing. I was like, no, like I'm not getting an EV. It doesn't make sense for a drive of equipment to Iowa, right? Things like that. But for people, for day-to-day tasks and live in a city where there's an EV charger in their garage and stuff, that makes a lot of sense, and it's just going to step towards things, and this is a part of it, and it's kind of the step towards the normalization of everything too. So that's good to see. Very good to see. Katie, when do you see yourself getting into an EV?
I wish sooner rather than later.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, but it'd be awesome in the next couple of years if we can get to that point where they're actually affordable. I saw a Riven. I saw one on the road.
Whoa!
2 days ago.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually saw one.
Crafton Heights.
Oh, now that's a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
I see Teslas like literally everywhere now. Like it's pretty incredible. And I'm sure there's other EVs, I don't think we'll notice an EV, the F-150, Lightning just driving down the road, because it's probably just going to look like another work truck. It does look like we've seen it in person until they open the hood and put a coffee machine in it. That's
or they run you over and we don't hear it.
Yeah, exactly, right? Oh yeah, cause was that the first car that rolled up on me? Was one of those, or when like 4 cars rolled up behind me and we're like sitting there like, where the hell are these guys coming? I guess they're bullshitting us, right? And then like all of a sudden it was like, hello, oh geez, where'd you come from? Oh God, there's the rest of you. Like how did 5 cars, large trucks, sneak up on me like this, right? So
you're a Hummer, like I should.
Yeah, exactly. The Hummer's the one that you don't see coming. Jeez, what is this? That's our future. Sneaky. And I know, Katie, you were out there for this. I didn't get to be out there for the EVs this year, but you were out there when they were all running on the track, like 4 or 5 of them at a time, and how quiet that is.
Yeah, that was wild. That was really wild. I'm just picturing, so now we're going to have all these quiet cars, and we're going to have contraptions that only animals can hear, so things don't run out in front of them.
Oh, the deer whistles like they used to sell on TV, right?
Yeah.
Did you put did anybody else know about this? We're definitely from the neck of the woods where this happened. But they used to sell. Let me see if I can Google it real quick. There were like these little whistle things that you put 2 of them on your front bumper, right? And they, as your car moves, it would emit a sound that the deer would avoid you. I haven't noticed these in years, but holy crap, they definitely still sell them. And there's a lot of.
Is that company in existence? Do we need to buy some of their stock?
I think there's just a general, I just found a ton of them at Walmart and Amazon and just the Google shopping and stuff. I'm going to just click on this random save a deer whistle for under $10 over at Amazon, apparently, on the Google thing. And it's pretty much what I remember. It's just this little thing. It's this our awesome technology. But yeah, remember they were advertised on television or something, right? Because that was a big issue at the time. We're like, wait, this new invention, so you'll stop hitting those damn deer.
I you know what though? I wouldn't mind. I didn't know about that but that would be useful for me because literally, now I live in Penn Hills, so I don't live out in the middle of nowhere.
No,
but around a quarter mile away from my house, I've seen 2 or 3 deer recently on a main road.
That's okay. I had deer come up to me the other day, Dave. Did you see this? Did you see the photos I put
I saw
up?
that picture, yeah.
I'm walking along. I'm not far from the O'Hare Airport, and there's this great river and strip of Greenland, and you walk across a bridge, and there's office buildings. It's crazy. and I'm walking along. Well, first I got lost, and I'm walking along, and I hear a rustling. Like, I got AirPods in and stuff, right? So, but I like see something out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh shit, bear. For some reason, that's my default. But I'm sorry, I'm new to this. But and I look, and there's just like a deer in the just in the bushes over there, like not terribly far from me, right? And I was like, wow, that is like the closest that deer has not given a crap about me like that. And here's the video. I think I have it popped up here. Hopefully it's playing. Let's see. You see he's on the other end of that tree, and there he is. Hello. Hello. And he's just rolling along, and like this goes on. He does not give a crap that I'm there. I think it's a little bit more. Maybe it's a different video. And then I'll come up on this situation where the freaking deer whisperer is happening, right? And then I roll up on it and get pretty close myself. So maybe that'll load in a second. I'm sorry, everything's in the cloud, so it's getting a little weird. But yeah, that's how close I was to it.
Hello, friend.
Like, it was fine. Like, I was within distance enough. There's my bottles. I was in distance enough. I was trying to reach my hand out to it to see if it would sniff my hand, like just enough reach. But I had a bottle in my hand, and I think that might have spooked it. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. That was it's actually marked as the Catherine Chevalier Woods up there in Chicago. I mean, you're in the middle of Chicago suburbs, so it's like they definitely are exposed to people a lot. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, so you need your deer whistle on your bicycle when you're on that trail, apparently. So that should be our awesome thing of the 2 decades ago. Oh, geez. What else here? Kitty, what I
started looking up deer whistle videos, and then we're every news, there's a bunch of news segments, especially in the early 2000s, do deer whistles work?
Which were probably bought time on news programming at the time. Now that we know more about how media works, right? So
yeah, you're like, oh, that's interesting. They just happen upon this product.
Oh, so now it is funny because now you'll see things like that. Like John Oliver does this a lot, where they will juxtapose multiple local news, basically reading the same script.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is interesting.
The Sinclair is notorious for this, for their local channels. But a lot of them are they sell these, or they are sold these. It's along with their advertisers or whatever agenda. You can call it medical or something like that. So, and obviously, but we wouldn't have known in the 80s. Because we got our 3 channels, and there's no reason to know that something like that would have been happening, even if it was that bit. Katie, you're going to be the story picker. I like this. I like how that's your job today. What do you want to talk about next?
Hi. So I'm going to call on Podner again, because I need to know about these batch edit of the iPhone photos, because that really sounds like it would be helpful. And I think do we just get iOS 16 within the last couple of days? I think
we got the beta. We have the beta.
Yeah.
Okay, is that what I got?
Yeah.
Is that what happened to my phone?
Oh wait, did you
one night?
Wait, did you get on the beta?
I have no clue. It was we're gonna update, and I'm like, you do what you want, phone. Just
you have a regular update. You have 15.6 or something.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was
not on the
I
beta.
didn't think I was this cool yet.
That's
you doubting my coolness, Podner?
No, of course not. Of course not.
No, I'm worried because I know you use your phone for work, and you probably should not be on a beta right now. No. So I'm worried about what pain is in your future. No, let Chilla live. Remember, Chilla is the canary in the coal mine. Let him do this so that we will benefit later. When we're like, Chilla, what is that device that I don't get that shuts my entire house down? Okay, thank you. But anyways.
So is Podner our Chilla for today, or Podner's living in the future? You can help us?
Well, I'm reading about people living in the future because I only have one phone. Therefore,
yes,
I don't go until I hear a few other people upgrade, so I know it doesn't break.
I might want to, I mean, I guess I have some options here. Maybe I could throw something on here. I literally have 5 phones in front of me and an iPad. So, We'll just put those back over there. Anyway, so you're reading reports from the future, partner. What are we going to be able to do in a few weeks?
So when iOS 16 comes out, assuming it's not pulled. Now, one thing to remember about a beta is sometimes they put stuff in to see if it works, and then they'll pull it out because they can't make it happy. It's like, oh, it works 90% of the time, but it breaks horribly for 10%.
Yeah.
They'll say, okay, we'll put that up for next year, or it's not worth it.
Or maybe sometimes they'll do a point release later, won't they?
Yeah, they'll do that later. Say, okay, it's not quite ready, but it'll be ready, in November instead of September.
It feels like they've been doing that a lot more often lately, actually. Yeah. So.
And that's because they've had too much kickback when stuff breaks.
Oh yeah.
Because when they sell, you figure when the new phone comes out, they sell 10 million over a weekend or some ridiculous number like that. So when you have 10 million new phones and you have the hundreds of millions of phones out there, if they put out an iOS feature and it breaks 1% of the phones, that's millions of people, and very unhappy people. And the one thing we know, and admittedly I'm an Apple fanboy, so you can yell at me for this, but news and technology people love to put down Apple device fails miserably.
Yeah. You're on a bigger,
they love to shout
you're on a
that
bigger
out.
stage then.
Exactly. So, but now one reason I love using third-party editing apps, like I use Polar, is I can do the edits, and then there's a button in Polar that goes, you can click on the edit, do copy edits, open up another photo, and then paste your edits. That way you're like, okay, well, these two photos are kind of similar. And I just want to do the basic same edit for both photos. So you can do that without having to recreate it. Well, they're bringing that to iOS 16, which to me is a very nice feature. That way you can just, it's not true batch edit. I'll say that. Because for me, batch editing is, here's 5 photos, and then do all these edits on the photos at the same time. This looks more like, okay, take the edit and then paste the edit on these other photos.
Right.
So it's a little bit different. It's similar to batch, but it's more it's a little more intensive, but that's how Apple does it.
It's still something. It's still at least one step to make things a little bit easier. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially if you're going somewhere and you're taking a lot of photos and you want to do a quick edit. You don't want to take the time to do a very intensive. Let's say you want to throw something on Instagram stories and you just want to do some minor tweaks inside the photo app, which is a pretty good job. You can do, okay, well, that one looks good and all these kind of look the same. Copy, go up, copy my edit, paste. Okay, it made it good, and it made it a little bit better, maybe a little more vibrant, worked on the contrast, maybe got rid of some brightness, so it made it a little nicer. And then, okay, I'm done, so I can go from here right to an Instagram story, or I can put it into a slideshow, put it up on TikTok, and do stuff a little bit quicker, because that is the advantage of doing something on your phone.
I like it.
You don't have to download and do this and do this and copy here and paste it here and open it here and move over here. Then it's like, okay, I have this done. Okay, I'm ready, posting.
So Katie, obviously you've just been through a massive photo project over multiple events, and of course I know we've been intermingling our iPhone Pros in these. So do you see some advantage to this for some? At least the lighter version of your work, or for smaller events?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think more for like the day-to-day social media kind of photos versus like the ones that might possibly go to print and those kind of worlds, because it's yay raw giant camera. But no, but for like, this is nice for, especially like, because I feel like, and you've probably experienced this too, with different clients, they have a different look. Like for their, like, you might have contrast up higher on something that maybe is a little bit more edgy, or you might have it something it's a little bit lighter if you're trying to be not as, like there's, so that would be nice to like batch edit a bunch of photos that way. So you wouldn't have to like, oh, let's adjust the lighting. Okay, this goes up and this goes down. And like you see on, like, I'm sure you've seen on TikTok, like how folks have been like, okay, this is how you get this selfie to look this way, and it's like,
Mhm.
move the f-stop, do this, do this, do this. I
Mhm.
mean, like, it's very much like, lock here, do this, do this. Like, and I think that would help so many other content creators who are like, all right, this is how I take photos, and like, this is how I make it look this way. So yeah, definitely.
I dig it. I like it. Yeah, no, anything that kind of moves that along. I mean, so because I know so much, especially the newer ones. Like this is becoming the workhorse a little bit, right? It's where you're throwing your video, where you're throwing your photo. I'm throwing video from my Mac Mini to my phone to process sometimes. Yeah, especially with the apps to do certain things like TikTok. I'm trying to use more stuff on TikTok, like the. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. But anyways, so that's coming iOS 16. iOS 16 is currently expected probably the end of September, I believe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because they'll announce the new iPhone probably second week of September, as they always do, and probably in that week or the next week they'll come out with the new version of the operating system.
Excellent.
So who knows what they're going to have that's photo related that will only be on the new iPhone 14. Because there's always that one little thing they have, like for iOS 16, the cinematic mode, you can only use an iPhone 13. Little thing, not deal breaker, but enough to say, oh, do I really want this? Or like if you're into the was it the ProRes for video?
Yes.
And
I've seen the option pop up on my phone. I'm like, no, probably shouldn't do that yet. Or the raw photos popped up. Yeah. And I was like, I don't. That's gonna cause me so much pain. So I mean,
the
even
ProRAW is pretty nice. The ProRAW is pretty nice, and it's a lot easier to deal with. The ProRes video, I have no idea.
Pretty much
I know
similar.
if you're heavy into it,
similar concepts. I don't exist much in ProRes. I usually ProRes LT for space saving in most cases. I can't think of anything we capture more than ProRes LT, which is the lighter version of ProRes. But again, more or less the same kind of concepts of when you're talking about raw photos, right? But we, I'm not working with anybody that demands that high level. We're doing, we're doing a lot of live to tape kind of situations. So like, the cameras aren't taking ProRes RAW. They're taking whatever Sony format is happening, and it's going to be converted to whatever they're editing in later if they use any of it for stuff. And honestly, most of it ends up on social media. So like, hey, we did this great show. It's a GIF on Twitter, and that's what most people are going to see it. When you look at my feed from this weekend, right? Like that's what it is. And we're talking to them about like, how do we make these GIFs look better? And to me, it's just like, well, they're GIFs. So, and we were working on this workaround. I was like, oh yeah, guys, I think you're doing the best you can right now. So, awesome. Well, there's so much stuff. Hey, I want to give, my brother pulled the trigger where I didn't. I backed off. I chickened out. Okay. I did not get a Steam Deck. I canceled my order eventually after I started looking at it. It didn't really make sense at the time. I may still get one. I don't know. Or I might just be playing cloud games and not care at this point. But he's picked one up. I'm hoping to pick his brain. Maybe we'll get him on the show here in the near future to talk about it or something, since he's got the hands on. But I saw he got that today, and he had a story actually in the AwesomeCast group talking about how there was some movement in articles about how more were coming out from the pre-orders. So we know somebody with one in their hands. We just need like some comeback stuff where like he comes in and talks about the Steam Deck. Brian comes back to talk about his EV car, and like, because they're the ones living in the future right now, and let them have travel back in time with us and hang out and let us know what to expect from the year 2000. Anyways, Dave Potter, thank you so much for joining us and getting all car and photography on us.
No, thanks for having me on, Sorg. Always enjoy being on.
And Katie, thank you so much for bringing the flowers.
Yay, some pretties. And Mad Mike already probably sent me my awesome thing of the week for next week.
Are you serious? Oh yeah, I got to be on there.
Oh yeah, fun teaser. I might not make it. It might not. But Hello Funko is doing a Hello Kitty pop that the 10% of the proceeds, I believe, go to Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which is one of the ones thumbs up for. But yeah, it's a little breast cancer Hello Kitty Funko Pop. So yeah, he just sent that to me during the show. So.
That's awesome.
And I have to figure out how to track that guy down.
Oh, and we know you are notorious for your Target Hello Kitty Pop track downs. So yes, so Prof Pod on the Twitter, iPhoneography Podcast, and Kate Burry PGH on the Instagram, where you'll find out when she's gotten caught in the rain again.
Yep.
So
all the time. I almost did today.
Yay! Oh yeah, after my weekend, I'm like, yeah, I'm just hitting the treadmill. I'm just catch up on my TV. Thank you everybody for joining us. This has been your awesome guest. I'm at Sorgatron on the Twitter. You want to follow my adventures? I'll be heading to Lake Harmony, PA. I get to stay in the state this weekend, so that's kind of nice. Up there in the Poconos, and we'll be working with Maverick MMA over on Spectation Sports, our good friends over there. So looking forward to that again. It'll be my third time up there with them. So in the past yearish. So. Look out for that, and keep an eye on everything going on. And shout out, hey, go check out our friends at fishwithoutbait.com, of course. Some great shows going on there, and we have some cool guests coming up. We actually have Tim Votullo coming up, a local artist. I can't remember if he's been a part of this show or not, but I know he's been on that one before, and I know I've worked with him on Jagoff's streams during COVID. So looking forward to some further conversation there, and getting him in studio to do a performance, hopefully. So because we did it online and it didn't work out so well last time. So thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.